Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the KITZUR HILCHOS SHABBOS, and we're talking over here about schitas begodim, which means if your clothing got wet, squeezing out the liquid that is in the clothing is related to this malach over here of schita, of squeezing out the juice in fruits, and therefore you would not be allowed to do that. Now, chiluk din schitas begodim is schitas oichlin, the difference halachically between squeezing out or wringing out the liquids from your clothing and squeezing out the juice from the fruits, besides that you're trampling on the prohibition of dash, of the threshing, sometimes when it comes to clothing, you could also be over on the prohibition of malabin, which means washing, whitening, means cleaning the clothes. V'hainu kevan sheschitas begodim mehem hu chelek mimaisa, since that when you're squeezing out the water that is inside of this clothing, that's a chelek, that's a portion of the washing process. Nimsa sho'ivim aleim mishum meleches malabin, so that means that you are doing something that itself is part of the process of washing clothing, and therefore you'd be transgressing that prohibition as well. However, shainim gidrei dash migidrei melamin, the boundaries or the parameters of dash, of threshing, is different than the parameters of melamin, of cleaning. And therefore, not every time that you transgress the prohibition of dash do you transgress the prohibition of malabin. And the opposite is true as well. You'll see later on, or we'll see later on, Be'ez Hashem, when we get to the malacha of malabin, of washing. Simon Yutes Eizayin, we'll get there, Be'ez Hashem. Over there, I explain in more detail the differences between these two malachas. Okay. If water or any other liquid got absorbed in this clothing, and it's making it cleaner and it's making it whiter, that means then that when you are squeezing it out, you are over on the issue of malabin, of cleaning. And more than this, he says, if you need the water that is being squeezed out, you're not going to waste them, then you transgress dash as well, because dash is, I thresh out what's in this grain, and I want that which is being separated. But if a liquid got absorbed in the clothing that doesn't whiten it and doesn't clean it, for example, if red wine got absorbed in your tablecloth, then you're only transgressing dash if you squeeze it out. That's if the liquid is not going to go to waste. However, for cleaning, you didn't transgress, because the liquid that you are squeezing out is liquid that doesn't clean anyway. It made the tablecloth or whatever it was, made it colored and dirty. And if you don't need those liquids that are squeezed, they end up getting wasted. Dash ain't over. You didn't even transgress dash in that case either. Like we mentioned before, if that fruit or that food did not have liquid to begin with, the liquid came from elsewhere. It could go in shlakais, like we said, pickled fruits, vegetables, or pickled meats, whatever it is you're picking, or bread that was sitting in water. And if you squeeze them out for themselves, you don't really want the liquid that's coming out of there, so I don't really want the pickle juice that I'm squeezing out, then it's not a problem. So over here, by the squeezing out of clothing, the liquid in clothing, if liquid that doesn't whiten the article, doesn't clean the clothing, was absorbed, you're not allowed to squeeze it. Even if you're going to end up wasting and it's going to go to be lost, still you cannot do it. And that would be the difference, says the Gemara, says the KITZUR Shabbos, that would be the difference between these malachas of threshing and over here malabin, depending on exactly what it is in and what you're going to do with that liquid once that it is squeezed. There's still more to see over here, but it's a couple more paragraphs, so we'll wait in Miss Hashem for tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.